What? Hello. Hey, everybody. Hello, it's me, Joel Savage, recently declared Duke of Horror from the Kings of Horror. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this special edition of streaming. It's the Scream 7 live discussion that we're happening right here at Kings of Horror. Call a neighbor, wake the kids. It's time to talk about Scream 7. It's going to be an amazing chat. Let's get started with how about I introduce who's on the show today? Taylor, why don't you, or I'm sorry, James Taylor. I don't know what is going on with me right now. James, how are you? Who are you? Explain yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, my name is James. I'm a longtime multimedia writer. I've been covering entertainment beats for 10 years now. I write for so many websites, can't even write them all down. Wicked Horror, Bloody Disgusting, Taste of Cinema, been all over the place. And I've been a horror fan my entire life, and I'm a huge fan of what we got going on at Kings of Horror, and hopefully we can see more stuff like this in the future.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. Everybody at home, when you're watching, give him a round of applause too. All right. Rob, who the hell are you, man? Uh-oh. Rob, are you there?
Hello?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Rob's gone. Is he back?
We are the
Oh, there he is.
Jersey. I'm gone. Hello?
Oh, there's a bit of a lag,
I'm
Rob.
sorry.
Bit of a lag.
My name is Rob. I am co-host of the number one.
The number one we'll never know.
Number one code breaker in New Jersey, and we'll never
Our
find
podcast,
out.
South Jersey.
Rock on. Well,
up, aren't I?
Hey, we're having some technical problems with Rob here for a second while we're trying to figure that out. Brian, why don't you talk about who you are?
I'm Brian Wolford. I co-host a podcast called The Midnight Drive-In, where we talk about movies, obviously. And I've done some writing for websites like Joe Blow and Comic Book Resources.
Oh, that's amazing. Hey, let's give it up for Brian. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. You at home, I want to see some clap emojis in the chat right now. So let's get this started. First of all, before we get started about Scream 7, can everybody just give me a quick, just what are a quick thoughts on the last one, Scream 6, leading into Scream 7? What did you guys think of Scream 6? Just real quickly.
I really enjoyed Scream 6. I enjoyed sort of the two new reboots with Jenna Ortega, and I enjoyed them. So I was really looking forward to this one.
Awesome. What about you, James? What would you think about Scream 6 before we get into Scream 7?
Well, I'm not really as high on it as some of the other fans out there. I thought it was a decent, entertaining reboot, requel, remake, legacy sequel. But beyond that, that doesn't seem much more than an entertaining popcorn movie.
Oh, rock on. And Brian, are you there, buddy? Or Rob, I'm sorry. Rob, are you there?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my shit together here. Sorry.
Well, Rob, we're loving every second of it.
I am nothing but if anything, I am but an entertaining mess. I'm sorry.
No, this is what we're looking for, Rob. This is the stuff that makes legends on screen. Is this kind of technical overcoming these odds? Are you kidding me? This is like sports, baby, sports.
All right, I think I'm good now. Maybe I don't know. Hello, can we hear me? Are we good?
I can hear you.
Fantastic. Rob, hello.
Can you once and for all tell us who the hell you are?
I am Rob, and I am co-host of the Horror Wars podcast. We are the number one horror podcast in all of South Jersey. And basically what we do is we take original horror films and their remakes and put them against each other in an all-out war in a series of scores that we got to give them through tally marks. We have a lot of banter. We do a lot of really cool things. We have awesome segments on the show, and we pack everything in about a regular horror movie length of about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and 30. And we're just here to kick ass and take names. Woo!
Woo! That sounds awesome. Thank you so much, Rob. Let's give it up for Rob. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Oh, there's a hashtag Team Rob 100% in the chat right now. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for that.
Okay, so this is our first part of of our discussion. This is spoiler free, so anybody who hasn't seen the movie yet, please, you can stick around, watch this part of the show. We'll obviously have a spoiler section later on, but I guess first reaction is, can I just get a one-word reaction from each of you, starting with James?
Debatable.
Debatable. Okay, Brian.
Disappointing.
Disappointing. Ooh, okay. All right. And Rob.
A little too real. Or well, you know what? Actually, wait. Hold on.
There are a lot of words.
That's a lot of words. Yeah, my bad. What would be the word to describe it? Melancholy.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Well, I guess the first thing is, what is your reaction? Did it meet anybody? I'm guessing didn't meet a lot of your expectations. So, James, why don't you get started? Just kind of tell us your thoughts on the movie, spoiler free.
Well, so going spoiler free, I mean, obviously, this is a very interesting sequel in the sense that so much of the online discussion about the film had nothing to do with the film itself. It all revolved around, the firings and political things going on behind the scenes before the movie came out. So obviously you had a new cast here. You had two huge names drop out of it. The director dropped out of it. So you kind of had a movie kind of cobbled together on the fly with Kevin Williamson. So I was interested to kind of see how the story would go. You're kind of, scraping over the last two movies and kind of going back to where you were with the original. So I thought it was going to be kind of more like the Halloween remake from a couple of years ago. We are revisiting Jamie Lee Curtis and kind of doing that arc over again. So that component had a lot of real interest for me, is seeing how that plays out. What would they do differently? I mean, there's a lot of different things you could do with that particular material. And of course, the whole idea of having so many members of the cast from previous films come back, even though they were canonically dead. I mean, that's another thing that had me kind of pulled in the movie, kind of seeing how this is going to play out and whether or not we're going to get swerved on it. So there were definitely some intriguing elements going into the movie. Whether or not the movie lived up to all the hype and expectations, well, that's up for debate.
Yeah, it is very interesting because the drama behind everything before the movie even got started was insane. Ryan or Brian, I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
Ryan, same question. What are your thoughts and feelings? No spoilers.
I was really excited Neve Campbell was coming back because I feel like she was definitely missed out of the last movie. As we saw in part 5, her role kind of got shrunk down a little bit, but she was still pretty integral to the plot, which I really enjoyed. So I was excited to see sort of where her character was, since we were 100% focusing on her this time around. Some of the stuff I wasn't super happy with. A couple characters from the last two movies that show up feel like studio notes that was like, we have to include these characters because they scored really high in the last movies. I feel like they were not given a whole lot to do and just felt like they were there for really no reason. The revisiting, we're kind of going to get into it, but like the revisiting of a previous location at the beginning of the film was a lot of fun. And seeing Sydney and Gail still having a little bit of conflict maybe was interesting, but I feel like unearned maybe throughout the movie.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can see all of that. Just so everybody knows, I haven't seen the movie yet.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is all news to me. I'm very excited to hear all about this from all of you. So yes. And Rob, what's your take? Hello?
My take might, like I said, be a little bit different. Without giving too much away, I have a child around the same age as Tatum in real life, and I believe that this film is really firing on all of the nostalgia buttons 100%. anybody that is in their 40s with a child that's around this area is going to feel the movie a lot differently, I believe, than other people. And that's pretty much what I'm going to leave it at until we get to the spoiler part of the discussion, because they do a lot of things in there that make us feel like if you're a millennial and you're raising a child in this climate, then you are trying to protect them from your past sins. And ultimately, you might be creating new sins as well as a result of it.
Okay, wow. All right. I'm interested to dive further into that when we get into the spoiler section. I see that Jeeper Creepers 58 his one or their one word description is disappointed. So seems like a lot of folks are not really getting into this. Also, I'm seeing from Holly Go Frightly, great name. It's one word to describe it, payday. So good for Nev Campbell. So the tone. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What? Somebody wants?
Oh no. I was actually considering the tone as the next part. I can save this for the next bit. I'm sorry. My bad. My apologies.
Okay. Overall experience with the movie, tone, pacing, just like, and theater reaction. I mean, like, you all saw it in a theater. How did the crowd like it? Why don't we start with Rob this time?
Okay. The people that I was in the theater with reacted, I guess you could say, exactly where they needed to react. It seemed like everybody was enjoying the film. I'd say that the theater that I was in was about half packed. So it was the 7:30 showing last night on Friday night. So, there was a pretty decent amount of people there. And I could say that from the general consensus of things, the tone of the film was really heavy, very heavy. And I can see where people are disappointed with it, because ultimately our generation is disappointed with a lot because nothing pans out the way that we expected it to. We are of a certain time period where things don't go right, and they're not going to go right no matter how hard you want. Like, take me, for example, with this. I had everything set up, but as soon as I got in here, everything started messing up, and now I'm on my phone trying to get my other laptop together so I can have a better presentable thing. You know what I mean? The elder millennials, as we're called, we go through very interesting and weird hardships that don't ultimately mean anything, but they make us disappointed in the end. And I think that's what a lot of takeaway is for this film, because people can't just like come to grips with their own disappointment in life.
All right, well said. Being an elder millennial as well, I just want to say I know how to use. I'm one of the eldest ones. I know how to use a rotary phone.
Rotary phones are so cool still.
Brian, what was your take? Audience reaction in your neck of the woods?
Well, from a Gen X perspective.
Oh yeah, let's get into that Gen X.
Oh yeah.
Most of my audience, the theater wasn't super full. I saw it this afternoon. You're pretty quiet throughout most of it. There was a group of like 10-year-old boys sitting a couple rows behind me that kind of laughed and giggled during most of it. And then the last 5 minutes decided to entertain themselves by making fart noises with their mouth while people were talking on screen. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a good indication of how the audience felt about it. For some reason, for me, there was something about the tone that just felt a little off, and I'm not 100% sure. Like, I can't put my finger on it, but like, if I had to explain, I'm just like, no, there's something missing, and I don't know what that missing piece is. And maybe it's just, since we're going back to more legacy characters, we're already missing a big one with spoiler alert for part 5, I guess, for Dewey, who's not represented in like the main 3. And it's always fun to see these 3 like reconnect, and we're sort of down one. But yeah, I don't know. There wasn't like the tension, I don't feel was very good. The pacing was okay. I have some logic questions or problems that happen through a lot of it. And I know it's a horror movie, so you're kind of supposed to throw those kind of out the window. But I feel like Scream has always been really good with addressing some of those things. And yeah, it just A lot of it did not work for me this time around, unfortunately.
So you would say that real big fart noise for for you? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, yeah.
All right.
Maybe that's what I should have been doing, and the kids behind me would have had a better time.
I honestly, if that were to happen to me, I don't know if I would thoroughly enjoy it or be very annoyed. I guess it depends on how much I paid for the ticket. James, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think the best way to sum it up is the biggest reaction from the audience that I witnessed was during the trailer for Scary Movie 6. So
Agreed.
that kind of tells you, what the mass consensus is. As far as the film itself, without getting too deep into the spoilers and certain scenes and parts of the movie, I think it's a movie where the tone it did feel kind of uneven. I think it's a movie that if you go back and watch the original Scream, even Scream 2 and Scream 3, there was a very nice mixture and balance of, melodrama and slasher thrills and comedy. This time around, it feels like not all of the equation equals out. It seems like the mix there just wasn't as congruent as it been in earlier sequels. And some of the character reactions just didn't really feel like they were canonical. They didn't really feel like, well, this is what this character would be doing in, Scream 2 or Scream 3. But beyond that, I mean, it had some decent thrills. I mean, all slasher movies are about giving you the good jump scares and having some suspenseful build up. And there's one very very good scene I thought that did that in the film. But overall, if you compare it to the previous films, it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Holly Go Frightly says the Meatball Fours of the franchise. Meatballs 4 of the franchise. Guys, I'm going to go on record right now saying I haven't seen Meatballs 4 either. I'm so sorry. I am not qualified for this podcast.
Dude, I think I don't even remember the first Meatballs, let alone Meatballs 4. I remember eating some meatballs and they were pretty good, but other than that, I can't give anything to the meatball talk.
I believe Corey Feldman is the lead of Meatballs 4, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. Well,
that right now. Feldon?
He's like a ski expert, like water ski expert or something.
A water ski expert in Meatballs 4. Hey,
the jokes write themselves.
Typical casting for Corey Feldman. All right. So, we got your thoughts on tones. Let's talk about performances. Can I get another take of that? Let's talk about performances. Are there any actors that stand out? Anybody that how was Ghostface this time? The performer performing Ghostface. How was that? Are there any standouts? Is there anybody that came back that just knocked it out of the park? Is there anybody that was a little, I don't know. Let's start with Brian. Brian, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's good to see Neve Campbell. Anytime you see Neve Campbell in a Scream movie, it's always exciting. I feel like she performed well. I mean, it didn't feel awkward, like she had forgotten how to play the character or anything, but it maybe felt like the character was just put in a situation where I'm like, I don't know if I 100% believe that this is how the character would react, but she was pretty good. Courtney Cox, as always, I feel like she has a little less to do in this movie than she has the last couple, which is a little disappointing. Was interesting to see McKenna Grace, who's sort of been an upcoming actress who was in the latest Ghostbusters movies and played a younger version of just about a billion characters in other movies. She's actually in this as one of the teenagers that Sydney's daughter goes to high school with, and playing a lot more against type than we're used to seeing her play, which I thought was a lot of fun. And Ghostface is Ghostface. I mean, weirdly, he is pretty much like the through line of all the movies, that even though it's always a different person playing him, it seems like Ghostface is always pretty consistent in his performance. So, performances I thought were decent, but like I said, overall, I think maybe the story just didn't give them anything to really play with.
Okay, all right, that's a great take, James. You're up to bat, buddy.
Well,
What is your take?
Well, I think obviously, this movie was Neve Campbell's in performance. The entire thing's kind of, revolved around her, and the success of the movie really kind of hinged on what she does here. And I thought she did a pretty good job bringing a very Jamie Lee Curtis-esque performance to the movie, kind of grounding everything out, going back to the roots of the film, and kind of expanding things out forward. Other performances I thought were very noteworthy. Of course, you have Matthew Lillard coming back somehow, some way. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I think the one performance that kind of struck me the most that no one's talking about is the performance of Anna Camp. If you're not familiar with her, she is a very familiar face from the Pitch Perfect movies. So seeing her in a very, very different kind of movie and a very different kind of role, I thought was one of the more striking things about the entire picture and experience for me. And as far as the personification of Ghostface, this movie, well, you know what to expect. It's a lot of good fluid movement there, a lot of good jump scares. I don't think the mannerisms really kind of give anything away as far as who the real deal will be. So that was pretty well done. But, if you've seen one Ghostface, you've pretty much seen them all. I mean, it's not like you have, Kane Hodder or Robert Englund underneath the hood there.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I, I would pay to see a Kane Hodder Ghostface. I just want to say real quickly, Jason said the 10-year-olds behind him loved it, so they wouldn't stop talking. So thanks for that, Jason. I appreciate letting us know how your theater reacted. All right, Rob, up to you, buddy. Any standouts? What do you think?
I have a couple things here. I really liked the interactions between Sid and Tatum. I thought they felt very real as a mother-daughter combo, especially navigating this modern landscape. Sid, of course, was a Gen Xer, and she came from a different time frame, and she's trying to, have a bond with her daughter that's of a different time. And I think that they really got their relationship well for people that are dealing with teenagers. And I also really like the interactions between Gail, Mindy, and Chad. I thought it was a really cool grouping. And when those three were on screen together, and when they were doing their deductions and their detective work and stuff like that, I really thought that those three worked well together. And that's all I'm going to give it for the rest of that.
All right. Okay.
Oh, wait, Ghostface. Sorry. He was foreboding as normal, genuinely good. Same Ghostface. Like Brian said, once you've seen him one, you've seen them all.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Rob. Very well put. All of you are doing such a great job. Everybody in the chat, give them a round of applause again. They're doing such a great job. Come on. Now, so this franchise from the very beginning started off with just a masterful kill in the very first movie, kicking off the entire franchise with Drew Barrymore, with I think one of the best kill sequences I've ever seen, and everyone has a great opening scene. Without getting into spoilers, what are your thoughts on the opening kill? Any takes on that? Well, let's start with James.
Well, it's an interesting sort of phenomenon, a little ironic too. When you look at the original Scream movie, it was so revolutionary for getting meta about the slasher genre and kind of pointing out the tropes and cliches. Well, here we are 30 years later on Scream 7, and the entire Scream formula has become a cliche and a trope. So I don't think I'm really spoiling too much to say that when you have characters introduced in the very beginning of a Scream movie, don't get attached to them. So what we have here is a pretty good sort of variation on the old opening Scream formula. Obviously, I don't think it's as memorable as what we saw in part 1 or part 2, but I did like it more than in Scream 5 and Scream 6. I think obviously know what's going to happen. There's some pretty good setup, and I think once again, without getting too deep into the weeds here, the gore quotient was very satisfactory. I think you might have a lot of complaints about the film as a whole, but no one's going to be complaining about the blood amount in this movie because there is a lot.
All right. Brian, different question. What is your the kill creativity throughout the whole movie? What is your thoughts on that? What do you have, with no spoiling?
Yeah.
What is your kill creativity?
There's some good kills. I feel like the last couple movies have been trying to figure out ways to do some kills on screen that maybe are a little outside of the box from what we had seen in the previous 4 movies. This one, there's a lot of just straight up knife kills. So I guess it's a return to sort of what made the franchise sort of notable in the first 4 films. So if that's something that you prefer, then maybe you'll be happy that, you know, the knife kills are becoming. Oh, wow.
Sorry. Hold
There we
on.
go.
Okay, my bad. All right, I got my other laptop hooked up now, and there was a weird transition. I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh, you're good.
This is bush league, Rob. Don't ever let it happen again. I'm sorry, Brian.
Dang it, Rob. It's all right.
Go ahead. Man, sorry.
So if you're happy that the knife kills are coming back, from what I remember from seeing it just a couple hours ago, there's a lot more return to the knife kills. Like the last movie we saw, Ghostface using a shotgun, which a lot of people were kind of turned off by that. So maybe this is a little bit more of a return, like sort of back to the classic Ghostface stuff. But you know, there is some interesting kills when we get into spoilers that we'll be able to break down that I think
Nice.
Fans really like.
All right. I know that the chat is really wanting to get to spoilers. I see you, Holly Go Frightly. I know that you have stuff you want to vent about. We'll get to it. Okay. Rob, real quickly, what is your take on like the cinematography and score, stuff like that? Just from a non-spoiler range.
Okay. I am a huge cinematography fan. That is something that I discuss a lot on the show that me and Josh do. And I think the cinematography in this film was very well done. I don't think it was the best, but I think it was well done. Definitely, we've had a little bit better in the cinematography. Soundtrack is definitely pretty good, though. I think the soundtrack's where we'll leave it at for there.
Awesome. All right. Before we get to spoiler section, just for folks who haven't seen it yet, before we say good night to them, score 1 to 10. I'll start with James. Just 1 to 10. What do you think about this movie?
I am going to take the coward's way out and go with a 5, leaning towards a 6.
Okay. All right. Brian.
I am also going with a 5. Unfortunately, this may be one of my least favorite in the entire franchise.
Gotcha. And Rob?
I'm going to go with a 7 because, again, like I said, I have a different take on it from other people, I believe. You know, when you have like teenagers in this climate and stuff, and when you have things going on, I believe you have a different viewpoint when it comes to that type of situation.
All right. Okay. I will give it I haven't seen it yet, so 0. Folks, we are heading into the spoiler zone. So if you don't want this movie spoiled, get the heck out of here. We don't want you anyways. Just kidding. We love you. Stick around for the movie right after the chat that we got going on. Okay, we're going to go into spoilers. All right, opening scene. Did it subvert expectations? Franchise comparison. I'm reading notes that my boss Patrick sent me. So the opening scene. Let's start with Brian. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Spoil it away, buddy. What's going on? You guys feel free to jump in at any time. This is more of a conversation going on right now.
Did it subvert expectations? I would say no. I think as Scream fans, you're all used to be like the movie opens. You're like, well, whoever's about to show up, you know, as James had pointed out, they're not going to be long for this world. So you sort of know what's coming. For this movie, they go back to the Mocker house, which has now been turned into a murder house B&B. And they've sort of outfitted it with all these like, hey, this person was killed here. This person was killed here. And I don't know if they were thinking like, oh, we're going to return to this house. Fans will be excited. But I feel like that has been stolen since we already went back to that house in the 5th one. And maybe that doesn't hold as much weight for this opening kill. but so I wasn't excited about that. But seeing two people wander around the murder house, kind of excited, was kind of fun. But overall, like we've had better ones in the franchise for sure.
All right, that's a good take. And James, your thoughts? Did it subvert expectations for you, buddy?
Well, whatever the opposite of subvert would be, I think would be the proper verb to be used in this situation. Um, the one thing I thought was really sort of interesting about the entire sequence is there's always a part in the opening where they go through, the horror lore of, old school genre favorites. And somehow, of all movies, The People Under the Stairs got name dropped, which I thought was a pretty cool little thing there that no one in the audience picked up on except me.
Oh,
But yeah, you know what to expect. So, you have the kids go in there and they overact and chew the scenery. And of course, Ghostface or multiple Ghostface show up and rearrange their guts for them. So I think the one thing, and this is a very strong point about the movie as a whole, is it's a lot gorier and darker than I think the previous films. I think we're kind of seeing the Terrifier effect going on with this particular movie, where the quotient for gore has been up for horror movies wide release anyway, mainstream stuff. So it was a lot bloodier and thicker than what we're used to.
Okay. Wow. I I do know that they burned down the house at the beginning. Again, spoilers. Which I guess is kind of cut and ties with that house. So I guess we're never going to see that house again. But Rob, your thoughts? Opening scene. Rob.
I think
That's Brian Patrick.
I mean, I can go
Rob.
again.
Thank you. Jeez, Bush League.
No, I'm supposed to be Bush League. No, I think the opening I think the opening was very well done, actually. I agree that it really set off a darker tone for the for the film, and it really captured how we are very obsessed with serial killers in today's culture, and how anytime true crime, anything happens, we got to be there, we got to see it, we got to be involved. And it's just one of those things now. The Mocker House has become a tourist trap. Well, not anymore, but it was a tourist trap, and that's pretty much how it began. And I think that was perfectly fine, because it definitely captured how obsessed America in general is with true crime and serial killers.
That is an interesting take, because the first one was about wrapping up the slasher craze that happened in the 80s, and it was a comment on that. And every Scream is like a take on what's happening in horror. And now, because true crime podcasts are like the number one selling podcast, that is an interesting. I do find that part interesting. Yeah. All right. Let's get into deaths. What do you guys think about that? What is the most brutal death? What was the reaction to the deaths that were happening? Do you have a favorite kill? That kind of stuff. Let's start with Brian.
Well, my favorite has to be McKenna Grace's death. She is there's a lot built around some of the characters being in like a theater class, and they're practicing a play, and she has to be like hoisted up on like a harness and stuff, and they're practicing some moves, just her and another guy, and he's killed off, but Ghostface takes over and sort of swings her all over. But then like there's a moment where he stands on stage and literally just holds the knife up, and she like slides over it, and all of her guts just fall out onto the stage, and it was pretty brutal, and I thought that was pretty good.
Okay, you sold it. Now I gotta see it for that. All right, James, your thoughts? Best kill.
Yeah, I mean, the McKenna Grace scene was outstanding. That was like something straight off like a Lucio Fulci or a Dario Argento movie. Just incredible stuff. But to kind of diversify the discussion a bit, Lucas at the bar getting his face rammed through basically a piece of glass or some metal fixture and basically being turned into a blood geyser. which is something I don't think we've seen in any previous Scream movies. And that was another one of the more sort of, explicit Terrifier sort of, touches of the film that we didn't see in the previous movies.
Nice. Okay. And Rob, what's your favorite kill?
Okay. So for me, my favorite kill is going to be McKenna Grace Nahana. I think that kill was awesome, how the guts were just dropping down and everything. And I also like I don't remember the character's name. Like I said, I saw this last night, but they basically turned him into a beer drought dispenser and like put him over it, and you could like when his head tilted, the beer was coming out of the front of his mouth, and it was a really inventive kill. I think the beer tap was really awesome, and the kill that got the most reaction in theaters was when Tatum and Sid just opened fire on dude's face and put about 30 rounds into him, and it just melted his face off. It was a pretty cool scene.
All right. Wow. Okay. All right. All right, you guys, you convinced me. I'll go see this movie. Now let's go into the reveal of the killer. It's since the first one, it's a big reveal. What are your thoughts on the killer reveal? Did it work for you? Was it kind of like a for you? Let's start with Rob. What are your thoughts on the killer reveal?
Killer reveal worked for me. Again, same concept of America's obsession with serial killers. The red herring was the son, and it turned out to be the mom and everything, and the other person. So I really think that it 100% captured America's obsession with true crime and the way that it perverts a human being and makes them so obsessed with everything that if the victim that Sid was changed her life and went into hiding, that somehow that was the wrong thing, that she should have just been out there continually for people to come after her and her family. But at the same time, when you have that family and you want to get pulled away from things, what you do is you go away. You don't want the appearances. So I think that the reveal of the killer, like I said, but at the same time, it really got in with everything with the way that America's culture is.
Brian, was it predictable for you, and your thoughts on it?
Was the motive predictable? No. Did I point at the screen and be like, oh, that's the killer for one of them? Yes. Because they set up a red herring where Ghostface is killed about third of the way through the movie, and they pull the mask off and everybody's like, who is this guy? Nobody knows who he is. And they find out he escaped from like a mental hospital. So of course Gail and Sydney are like, well, that's where we're going to go first to investigate this. They go. First person they talk to is like a guy that works there, who's played by Ethan Embry, who I am a big fan of every time I see him pop up in something. But I saw him, and the way they have his hair and stuff, I'm just like, oh, he looks really creepy. He's definitely the killer. And turns out I was right. Later, we get into the motivation where we find out the Sydney's neighbor, the mom that Rob was talking about, is the main killer, and he's sort of like her sidekick in helping. In her motivation, I was just like, I don't buy like any of this, and do not engage with whatever this motive is supposed to be. It seems very tangential compared to the motives that have come like before in all the other killers. So just did not work for me whatsoever.
I was going to say, sorry, I saw one of the comments come up that said Ethan Embry's hairline was the real villain. And
it's true.
Is absolutely diabolical. That is true. Correct. That is true.
I did spend the time going, that's probably his real hair, because I know he's had a receding hairline for a while. And I was like, man, they did him dirty by letting him go on screen like that. But
yeah, that's
kind of the whole point, I guess.
James, motivation and strength. What are your thoughts?
Well, with the Scream formula, you expect a bait and switch somehow, some way. I thought the big reveal here was probably one of the weaker ones we've had in the series. As far as motivation goes, it just kind of came out of nowhere. It seems like one of those things was plucked together at the very last second. I did like the fact that you kind of had three killers technically at one point in the movie. And that's actually how Courtney Cox is reintroduced in the film. There's a really great scene where she actually runs over the first killer before we segue into the end where the two other reveals come about. Um, but I think the bigger issue with the movie, as far as the reveal, is it's kind of a down note because the entire sort of point of the movie and the real strength of it is the fact that it keeps teasing you saying, hey, maybe Stu's not dead after all. Maybe he's actually been hanging out, in the California desert for the last 30 years, wanting to get revenge. And the movie actually plays that pretty well, teasing that, saying, well, it could actually possibly happen. And then at the last second, they pull the rug out on you and it becomes kind of a disappointment. So I didn't like it, but it wasn't awful, awful. I mean, it was just kind of what you expect, when you have a last second reveal like that.
Would any of you have liked to see Will as the actual killer? In the chat, please put in your sound off in the chat. Do you think Will, do any of you think that bringing back Will as the actual killer would have worked, or do you think that they're saving that for the next one?
Stu? You talking about Stu?
Let's
Matthew Lillard's character.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Matthew Lillard. I'm so sorry.
You didn't see this movie. You don't know.
Yeah.
Who the hell is Matthew Lillard?
Dude, right.
Guys.
I don't
Who
know.
the hell?
I heard Quentin Tarantino's not a fan though.
Oh man.
Who cares what Quentin Tarantino says?
Oh yeah, totally. Screw that guy. I love Matthew Lillard.
Okay, bringing back Matthew Lillard, do you think that would have worked in this movie, or do you think that it worked out well that he's, I guess, still dead technically in this franchise?
I can say for me, I think the fact that they, again, we're definitely in spoiler territory here. The fact that they went AI, that's the only thing that really irked me because, again, I don't know if it's a thing with my generation, but I had higher expectations. I really thought that the drama teacher was going to be more than what he was. And with how everything was, it felt like there was a lot of prosthetics that were going to end up being involved because things looked weird. And I think my mind went in one direction because I was thinking of the 30th anniversary of everything and the fact that how analog is cool again and this and that. My brain really thought that Randy was going to turn out to be the killer because even though we saw the body in Scream 2, I just really feel like, again, it was an out of left field revelation. And with how everything was, with how it was like, it felt like there could have been a stew mask involved or something. It felt like there could have been something else to kind of trick us. But that AI reveal and the way everything was, it didn't hit. That part really didn't hit. And there was a lot of questions left over from that, I think, too, as well.
Yeah. AI, the silent killer. James, your thoughts. Do you think Matthew Lillard should have been the killer? Yes or no?
Well, I think one of the strongest elements of the new movie to me is that whole IA component. When you look at the Scream films, I think sort of like on a subconscious level, they're about technology and how that shapes our perspectives on society. Obviously, the first movie was about horror movies influencing people to become killers, allegedly. And then you go through the social media phases in part 4, so on and so forth in part 5 and 6. So the fact that you actually have the whole IA hook to it, people kind of, perverting reality and creating their own reality where you don't know what is truth and reality, that's legitimately horrifying. And I think that's actually one of the strongest angles of the entire movie and kind of pushing that out and, seeing just how far you could take it. I might be in the minority, but I would have loved to have some sort of like really like bizarre reason to bring Stu back. Like say, okay, actually he has survived the first movie somehow. He's been hanging out, in a mental hospital out in the middle of nowhere as John Doe. He's been trying to get revenge for 30 years, and here it is. I mean, it would not have been believable, but after 7 movies, you got to try something different. I mean, at this point, the only thing you can do with Ghostface is put him in a space shuttle and send him into space like Jason.
No.
Or the Leprechaun.
or Pinhead.
Or Pinhead. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, they literally did that for Michael Myers in between Halloweens, where he obviously got killed, but he was an old man in a shack, took care of him for a while. Brian, your thoughts on Matthew Lillard?
I did enjoy seeing Matthew Lillard on the screen again playing Stu. The AI component, the problem I had with it was, I think someone in the chat room pointed out, using it as AI video calls was not good. It's like Matthew Lillard felt like he got paid to do a video cameo for a fan, which is pretty funny. And I did feel it kind of ended up that way. Like the AI stuff is like, oh, I'm standing out in front of your daughter's school right now. And I'm just like, does AI work that seamlessly where you could film someone and it just looked like that? I mean, I don't know. I'm Gen X, so I'm old and don't know how most technology works, but I know you can apply filters and stuff, but the way it looks really good. And so I was excited to see him, excited to see Stu. But as for him still being alive after 30 years, I feel like that ship has passed a long time ago. If they were going to do it, they should have done it within the first like 2 or 3 movies. But it was fun. And not only Stu, but we also got to see Laurie Metcalf come back as Billy's mom for a split second. Roman to a lesser extent, because I wasn't a huge fan of part 3. But yeah, it was fun to kind of see these people come back, and they use the excuse of AI to get them in there. So I did have sort of that serotonin bump where I'm just like, oh, I love all these people, even if this kind of makes 0 sense, but sure, why not? But yeah, no, I'm glad Stu was still dead, and it was all explained away with AI, as we explain most things nowadays.
I'm all for giving Matthew Lillard a paycheck. So let's bring him back as many times as we want. Come on, guys. Let's give it up. Let's give it a clap in the chat for Matthew Lillard. All right. So obviously you guys weren't really satisfied with this conclusion. How do you think that this sets up Scream 8? And should the franchise continue? I mean, obviously they're already in production for 8, so it's going to happen regardless. But if you have a chance to talk to the producers right now, because they're all watching, what would you say? Let's start with you, Rob.
I would say I don't know. I don't know what I would say actually, because I think like what was previously said, it's getting really difficult to try to go back to the well and find new people or find new things or find this or find that. I think Scream should be one of those films that maybe comes out once every 5 or 6 years, like once technology shifts or once things happen, so that way it can stay fresh and reverent then. But like a new Scream film every couple years, I don't think is really necessary. And I think that we could have gotten a lot better with this. But for what it was, I do think it was good. I think a lot of people are going to poo-poo on it simply because of everything that happened with Melissa Barrera, but and Jenna Ortega's leaving. But again, I think it was very well done. Just could have been done a lot better. And I think that we need to find some more inventive ways if we're going to continue that might be outside the box.
I just want to say to the people watching right now, live stream, we do not condone the language of poo-poo. I think that goes without saying. King of Horror, we want to apologize for those words being used. James, should it continue? Should it keep going? Part 8 already in production. What do you think?
Well, according to the Hollywood Reporter, the Scream 7 is on pace to make a $60 million weekend. So whether or not there should be another Scream 8 movie coming out, we're going to get one. And I think Scream, like on a personal level, I'd like to see them kind of do things a little bit more outside the box. I think, after doing 7 movies, it's time to do something different with the formula. I mean, I don't expect the next one to be like a full supernatural thriller, but, something that kind of goes, beyond what we've been doing, something that maybe has a little bit more atmospheric, something that, is maybe perhaps a little bit more socially relevant, dig deeper into something kind of going on in U.S. society, kind of make it more of a product of its times than what we've been doing is just nostalgia bait. But yeah, I mean, the thing about Scream is, it's kind of a perfect template. It's kind of an evergreen product. And I think as long as people are going to be afraid of getting stabbed by guys with masks, they're going to keep making these movies.
That's true. That is very, very true. Brian, your take. What do you think, buddy?
Well, we've had 3 Scream movies now within the last 5 years. Would be nice to maybe take a little bit of a break and just kind of let them play out. I think I kind of agree with Rob. If we revisit this like about every 5 years and kind of see what's new, what we can use to bring into the Scream franchise and like really use that to its fullest extent and find a good story. Like, they've just sort of banged these last 3 out, and 5 and 6 I thought were pretty decent. This one, obviously, as we've been talking, I felt like the story could have been beefed up a little bit better. But yeah, I feel like maybe they just need a little break. And my buddy Jason in the chat room said MTV should make a Scream series.
I saw that.
I actually enjoyed the first 2 seasons of the Scream series, and the third one was pretty terrible. But yeah.
This is going to surprise you guys, but I haven't seen the Scream series. Is it connected to the movie franchise, or is it its own separate thing?
Its own separate story.
Do
But
they?
it's honestly a lot gorier and bloodier than you would expect for it to have aired on MTV, which was surprising.
The first, sorry, I didn't realize you weren't done yet. My bad.
Nope,
The first
you're
2
good.
seasons,
Come
it's not even the same.
Come on, buddy.
I know. And the first 2 seasons, it's not even the same Ghostface mask. It's a completely different mask, and it looks really weird, kind of like a Slipknot, like Corey Taylor almost esque mask. And then finally,
Was Corey Taylor the killer?
No.
Oh.
It would have been better if Corey Taylor was the killer. But no, and then third season they did end up going back to the original Ghostface mask. So
Oh, nice. All right. Well, is there a way to connect? You know what? I'm not going to do their job for them. Never mind. I was going to ask, is there a way of connecting the series to the movie franchise? Would that work? Would that not work? But
I don't think so.
Yeah,
the series kind of had its own like a folk tale to it, and like its own lore, which was really nice. Yeah.
Oh,
season 3 got a little bit more into the regular, but it was just kind of mentions here and there. So yeah, it really, and they don't even mention it in Scream 7. Like they said, if it doesn't involve Sid, then it doesn't matter. So they straight up said that the Scream series doesn't exist at this point.
Holly Go Frightly says every Scream sequel is Friday the 13th 5. That's actually a very good take, Holly Go Frightly. I appreciate that. Again, love the name.
Roy again.
I do have a quick question.
I'm sorry. Yes.
No, I had a quick question for Brian and James. How did you guys like the almost shot for shot beginning of Scream 7 versus the beginning of Scream, and Sid actually coming in to be the disruptor this time of Tatum and the boyfriend, literally almost exactly the way it was 30 years ago, but roles reversed because it's, different kids now.
I actually kind of rolled my eyes at that. Because he comes in, the boyfriend, Ben, I think his name was, comes in and starts doing the exact, like, I was watching TV, it made me think of you. I've never climbed in your window before. And I didn't, like, I'm just like, oh, he's going to comment that he was watching Stab or something because he's reciting the exact, thing. And that didn't really pay off other than Kevin Williamson nudging everybody, being like, huh, did you see what we did? One cameo we didn't talk about, which I really enjoyed, is we do see a picture of Tori Spelling at one point, which made me laugh out.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
What about you, James?
Well, I think the throwback in Scream 7 would have been a little bit more effective if they didn't do the same thing already in Scream 4.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about Scream 4.
Wow.
I haven't seen it. No, I have seen Scream 4. Rob,
go ahead.
You brought that up. What are your thoughts on that scene?
I thought it was really cool because it was just Sid and her daughter, and it was Sid being opposite of what it was when she was a teenager. That's all. That's how come I thought it was pretty cool, because she got to see what she was doing 30 years ago and why her dad was freaking out. That's all. And yeah, I know they did it in Scream 4, but I think it was just a little bit different considering it was Sid this time.
Is there anything that any of you want to talk about while we still have a couple of minutes left? Is there anything that you want to talk about that we haven't touched on, that you have an opinion on, that you have to get out and tell these people right now? Anybody have anything?
I was going to see, and Rob and James can jump in. When I was watching it, and this makes it sound like I'm like a really deep in with parts 5 and 6, and I thought they were pretty good, but for some reason for this one, because Kevin Williamson comes back in, co-writes and then directs the movie, I felt like, oh man, like he feels like an old guy that doesn't understand how kids talk nowadays. Like he obviously set that template in the original Scream, and everybody's sort of copied it since then. But I feel like with this one, was like, oh, does he know how AI works? Does he understand how kids talk and all this stuff? And I just felt kind of like, oh man, I don't know, because like the last two seemed like kind of hip and fresh like takes on the movies. Obviously they had younger writers and directors working on it, and I felt like they really brought something new to it and coming up with story ideas, with Sam being Billy Loomis's illegitimate daughter and stuff like that. But I felt like he was just, since he wasn't involved with those, he was like, no, we're going to go back to what I did. And I felt like it was just sort of dusty more than anything else. Like, I don't know if did he even watch the last two movies? Like, everything felt like very old and stale. Because at the very least with Wes Craven, with Wes's movies, you could always tell, because I wasn't a huge fan of part 4 when I saw it in the theater, but then when you watch it later, you realize, oh, it's because Wes is always ahead of the curve for everybody. So everybody else has to catch up to the movie rather than, the movie being of its time and stuff. But I feel like Kevin Williamson was still trying to maybe work in the past a little bit. And then maybe that was part of the thing that just didn't work for me with this one. So I'm curious how everybody else feels about it.
We have to wrap this section up pretty soon, because we have a movie starting here at Kings of Horror.
Well, that's how I felt. Never mind everybody else.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please, please, like real quickly. Yeah. Anything that you any thoughts? Any final thoughts?
Nostalgia's a hell of a drug.
Okay, gotcha.
If Scream was hip, Scream 7 is a hip replacement.
I feel like I need one because I am older. So yeah, everybody should feel like they need a hip replacement right about now.
I don't want to end this stream just talking about all the negative stuff of this film. It takes a lot of work to make a movie. It's so what is something that you absolutely loved about this movie? Let's start with Rob. What is something you loved about this movie that you walked away going, I love that. That's great.
I'll make it real quick because I know we're limited, but the relationship between Sid and Tatum, the mother-daughter relationship was really strong. I do think that they nailed that pretty well. And again, having a child and growing up with Scream and being of that age and having everything of that time period, I can say that the relationship between them was really good, and it was something that I very much enjoyed.
Awesome. Okay. James, what is something that you loved about this?
It is a Friday night popcorn movie through and through. I mean, it may not have, the best plot or the best acting or the best story, but as far as, genre expectations, it hits the high points. It's got some good kills, it's got some decent music, and it's going to keep you invested. There's some pretty tense moments in there, and just as a pure popcorn movie, it gets the fundamentals right.
I love that it ended. No, I'm kidding. Brian, what is something that you love about this movie?
Even a lower tier Scream movie is still a lot better than a lot of other horror movies. So,
Hell yeah.
I'm always excited to see a Scream movie. And Nick Cave and the Bad Seed showed up once again with Red Right
Hell yeah.
Hand.
Hell
so
yeah.
You can't complain.
All right. Chat, what did you think? Is this a yes or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Just give us the thumbs up, thumbs down in the chat there. While the chat is figuring out what they think of the movie. James, do you have anything you want to plug? Anything you want to just go crazy with your plugs, man. Let's hear them.
Well, I'm going to keep it very simple. Kings of Horror. I mean, you got so much great content on here literally every hour and every day. Keep supporting them.
Yes. Support Kings of Horror, please. Brian, you have anything you want to plug? Anything?
Yeah. Kings of Horror is awesome. Agreed. Support them as much as possible. Over on cinemaslacker.com, which is some stuff I'm doing every Monday is Movie Monday, and I shoot a quick video. I draw a random letter out of a cup, and then I suggest a movie off of my shelf that everybody should watch. From that, I do it every Monday. Cinemaslacker.com, also on YouTube and Instagram.
All right, and Rob, what do you got going on, buddy?
Real quick, just check out Horror Wars podcast, and I want to give a shout out to the co-host Josh. Want to give a shout out to Marionette, the people that do our theme song, and my boy Mass MC over in London. Other than that, thank you to Kings of Horror. You guys are amazing. Everything that you put out is awesome, and go check out Up All Night with Rhonda Shear as well.
Oh yes, Rhonda Shear is amazing. What is your Rob? Real quickly, what is your podcast? Like, what is the premise of your podcast again?
Horror Wars podcast.
Wait for the stream. This is your time to talk about it.
We put original horror movies against their remakes in an all-out war to see who comes out on top, and we do it with a series of tally marks. We do a bunch of different segments in the show, and again, everything is packed into about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes, and we're available on Screamify right now, and then also Spotify. Woo!
Awesome. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up, a couple thumbs down in the chat. So I guess it's mixed. It's up to you, the viewer, with your hard-earned dollars to see this movie and give it your likes or dislikes. Guys, thank you once again for coming on the podcast. Or I keep saying podcast. This is not a podcast. This is a live stream.
It is.
God damn it, Joel Bushley. Thank you so much for coming out, you guys. Had a great time chatting with you. Can't wait to do this again. See you all back for Scream 8. Oh, I guess this is time to quit because my microphone is calling it quits. See you again for Scream 8, which will be the Meatball 5 of the Scream franchise. Thank you all so much. Good night, everybody. Stick around for the movie that's coming up right now. Bye, everybody. Mwah, mwah, mwah.